Are you getting ready to take the Praxis 5362 English to Speakers of Other Languages or ESOL exam? Maybe I can help. My name is Hunter Tharp and I'm a teacher and test prep expert with Study.com. In this video, I'll walk you through everything that's on the test, how best to prepare, and my top strategy tips. We'll make sure you're as ready as possible for the big day. All right, let's jump in. Praxis 5362 tests whether you have the knowledge, skills, and abilities to teach as an ESOL teacher in elementary or secondary schools, and whether those qualifications meet national standards. In general, recent graduates of an ESOL degree program, pre-service teachers, or experienced ESOL educators are best suited to take this praxis. Praxis is a 2-hour exam with 120 multiple choice or selected response questions. The test covers the following categories: Foundations of Linguistics, consisting of 22 questions and taking up 18% of the exam. Foundations of Language Learning, with 26 questions and 22% of the praxis. Planning and Implementing Instruction, consisting of 28 questions and 23% of the exam. Assessment and Evaluation, with 18 questions and 15% of the exam. Culture, with 13 questions and 11% of the exam. Professionalism and Advocacy, rounding out the praxis with 13 questions and 11%. Most of the selected response questions will have a single correct answer, but some of these multiple choice questions will have one or more correct answers. You can identify these questions by the phrase, "Select all that apply." You will also want to pay attention to questions that contain the words not, least, or except, because these usually are asking you to find answer choices that don't fit the question, or are the odd ones out. Don't get fooled by some tricky wording. There are a few other types of questions that are less common, including some with click and drag elements, and some with audio or video prompts. All that said, my first strategy tip is to aim for about 50 seconds per selected response question, so you have a cushion for harder questions. My second strategy tip is related. Skip the selected response questions if they're taking a long time. You can always come back to them later on, but you don't want to spend all of your time too early. Make sure to answer every question before you turn in your exam, and remember, if you've read the question multiple times, gone through your process of elimination, looked for all possible context clues, and still don't know what the right answer is, don't be afraid to guess. There is no penalty for guessing, and you have a 25% chance of getting the answer right. So now that we've covered the basics, let's dive into some test specifics. Praxis 5362 examines your knowledge and competencies around working as an ESOL educator. It's suitable for those who want to obtain their teaching certification through demonstrated knowledge of pedagogy and instructional methods. On a related note, here's my third study tip. If you have any prior formal education or advanced training in educational theory, and especially if you have a previous degree in the field, be sure to draw upon that knowledge and review your material to prepare for Praxis 5362. The exam aligns with the standards for the recognition of initial TESOL programs in P through 12 ESL teacher education, a nationally recognized measure of competency, so you'll need all the advantages you can get. All that said, let's now take a look at the 6 question categories. The first category, Foundations of Linguistics, covers phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax, semantics, pragmatics, and sociolinguistics. You'll be tested on your knowledge of stress and intonation patterns, the International Phonetic Alphabet, or IPA, and the formation and function of morphemes. Additionally, you'll need to identify correct and incorrect sentence structures and answer questions about collocations, synonyms, homophones, and idioms. Foundations of Language Learning is the second category, exploring the theories and practical aspects of first and second language acquisition. A big part of this section is the difference between basic interpersonal communicative skills, or BICS, and cognitive academic language proficiency, or CALP, and how they are acquired at different rates. Make sure you understand the differences between these two language acquisition methods to succeed in this section. Planning and implementing instruction, third category, will assess your understanding of effective, tailored instructional strategies and lesson planning for ESOL students. Make sure you're familiar with concepts like differentiated instruction, scaffolding, and using visual aids to enhance learning. In the fourth category, assessment and evaluation, you will answer questions about various types of assessments, including formative and summative assessments, standardized tests, and performance-based assessments. You will also need to understand how to interpret assessments to guide instruction and provide feedback to students, as well as to evaluate and support students' language development and academic achievement. Culture, the fifth category, will test your cultural awareness and ability to recognize different upbringings, value the cultural backgrounds of students, and respect how those backgrounds influence language learning. To prepare for this section, think about how to create effective cross-cultural communication and address cultural misunderstandings. Professionalism and advocacy, the sixth and final category, addresses the professional responsibilities and advocacy roles of ESOL teachers. You'll answer questions about teacher professional development, current research and best practices in ESOL, and ways to advocate for ESOL student rights. One other note. While preparing for the exam, you might notice that questions are not about the subjects per se. Rather, they're about the pedagogical task of teaching the subjects. This relates to my fourth study tip. When preparing for the exam, don't only memorize how to answer translation questions. Think critically about how you might teach these solutions in a classroom setting. The Praxis 5362 covers the full range of topics that ESOL teachers need to be familiar with, so there's a lot to go over, and maybe it's been a while since you thought about how to best assess students from different cultures. So what's the best way to prep? The official exam guide, available on praxis.ets.org, has a detailed list of topics on the exam, as well as discussion questions to get started. Look for the Praxis Study Companion, English to Speakers of Other Languages 5362 PDF document. These questions help you think deeply about the topics and their applications in the classroom and ensure that you know them thoroughly. However, I recommend starting your prep with a full-length practice test. Study.com's test prep course offers multiple, so that you can identify where you need to spend most of your study time. Don't worry about your score the first time around. You're just trying to figure out where you need to focus. Study.com will generate a plan with top priorities for you. If you use other test prep materials, you may need to analyze your practice results manually. Watch lessons to review the topics in your study plan and do practice problems or make flashcards to transfer the material to your long-term memory. And take heed of my last study tip. Practice, practice, practice. There is no substitute for working through sample problems that mirror those that you will face on test day. Every practice problem that you do is going to help you be that much more prepared. Need a concrete prep recommendation? I highly recommend Study.com's Praxis 5362 English to Speakers of Other Languages prep course. It covers everything that I just went through, but in a ton more detail. The course, written and vetted by former teachers, also includes short-form videos for every relevant concept and a bank of high-quality practice questions with answer explanations. And what's more, users who complete the course have a 92% pass rate on the test. If this video helped you, check out the other videos in this and other series for more Praxis test prep. And please like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and hit that notification bell so you'll be the first to know when new teacher test prep content drops. Are there specific tests or questions that you want us to cover? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to circle back once you've passed your test so that we can all celebrate with you. Good luck.